this morning we are starting off calm, but we do have some rain on the way and a few thunderstorms possible. We're going to time this all out on Futurecast and get you prepared for the day coming up.
And new arrests. Police have charged 4 more people in connection to a deadly mass shooting in Catawba County. We'll break down the new charges as one suspect has already made his first court appearance.
And switching things up, hundreds of people lined up at midnight to get the new Nintendo Switch 2 here locally. We caught up with some very happy customers who got their hands on the new video game console. Oh, a lot of people hyped today. Today is Nintendo Day, apparently, as you're here on this also WRAL Weather Alert Day. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Renee Chu. I almost thought you might be in that line.
I had to work.
But you do have to work today.
And I have to be responsible.
That's true. Yeah, it is kind of a big investment. Our good weather comes to an end, switching modes now to rain. And we already see some on the dual Doppler radar, Anthony.
Yeah, there's just a little bit out there right now, but this is really going to set us up here through the next few days for a really wetter pattern, especially, unfortunately, heading into parts of the weekend, which we're going to talk all about here this morning. I want to start us off, though, with radar because for the majority of us, we are quiet right now. Look down to our south, though, even Wilmington, Lumberton. This is going to start to migrate up to the north. And so as you're headed out this morning, I would take the umbrella with you so you're not caught off guard with some of these showers coming in. We take a zoomed in view there. You can see right about Fayetteville, Sanford, maybe a sprinkler or two starting to show up. But again, there is going to be more on the way. Probably after about 7 a.m. is when this starts to really fill in. Here's Futurecast. So we put this into motion. It is a little bit overdone with the coverage. You see some of those showers early on, which we're not seeing out there currently, so it's not necessarily handling that well. But 8 o'clock in the mornings, we see that coverage starting to fill in, even 7 o'clock, I would say. Notice the yellows, the oranges. That will be a little bit heavier. Lunchtime, looking kind of dreary for us at that point. We go into the afternoon. There may be some breaks trying to work their way in. There's 3 o'clock on Futurecast, but for the majority of us, still looking at some off and on showers. It starts to wrap up, I would say, late this evening, probably after about 7 p.m. And then we have a drier day tomorrow and then more weekend rain on the way. We're at 71, though, currently in Raleigh and Durham. 61 in Roxborough. Temperatures today do not move much into the mid-70s. We heat up big time, though, through parts of the weekend, in addition to those rain chances. We're going to talk about all of that here coming up in just a few minutes.
But Anthony, we'll come back to you in just a bit. We do want to talk about this, though. Breaking news that we're following. Authorities are investigating after a crash knocked out power in Raleigh. And the scene right now, we're headed there from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. This is specifically on Wake Forest Road and Falls of Noose Road. More than 150 customers lost power after the crash. And so we're working to learn more about what may have caused this crash and the condition of the driver.
An update this morning to the shooting at a Catawba County house party. 4 new suspects are facing charges. The sheriff's office is searching for Keandre Mack and Tolan Huff Jr., both accused of firing shots at the party. And new this morning, alcohol law enforcement has arrested Patrick Lee Tolbert and Raekwon Craig. Both men are facing charges for hosting the event and providing alcohol to underage people there. This all comes in addition to the man we told you about yesterday, Garen Killian. Killian is facing an attempted murder charge and made his first appearance in court yesterday. A judge granted Killian a $200,000 bond. He is now out of jail with an electronic monitor. According to court records, at the time of the shooting, he was already out on bond for assault charges from an April 6th shooting incident. Last Sunday, 1 person was killed. 11 others were injured when authorities say several people opened fire at a house party near Hickory.
Well, it is a big morning for gamers. At midnight, tons of people got their hands on the highly anticipated Nintendo Switch 2, and that includes the hundreds of people lined up outside the Best Buy in Cary. WRAL's Ali Kadlubar was actually there when the doors opened. And Ali, you sent me some pictures. People were hyped. So many people even standing in line for hours for this.
Yes, absolutely right, Chris. And that line started right here by this Nintendo Switch 2 display. Very appropriate. It stretched all the way down the block, and this was just one of the lines. Best Buy tells me more than 200 people stood in line last night, some even standing here for 10 hours.
It's 5:30.
I got here probably a little after like 6 p.m.
I've been here for like 14 hours.
Hours of waiting just to make sure they got their hands on the Nintendo Switch 2 at midnight.
12 o'clock, let's do it!
It's been 8 years since the first one came out. The new gaming system has a larger screen and updated technology. It also exclusively comes with a new Mario Kart game. We spoke with Vlad Darrell, who was first in line.
Since I was a child, I really liked Nintendo games. And once I heard that the Nintendo Switch 2 was coming out with Mario Kart World, I'm like, I have to get it.
Now, we are still working to find out how many of these sold overnight, as well as how many are left for you, Chris. Reporting in Cary, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Fortunately, the only game I'm playing is Father Simulator right now. All right, so work on a major event center planned in downtown Fayetteville has been canceled just months after the city broke ground. During a special meeting last night, the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners voted to kill the Crown Event Center project. Rising costs, an extended completion date, and questions about parking, all of this contributed to their decision. Commissioners wondered if the money for this project could be better spent elsewhere.
Do we have the ability to do things like a regional aquatic center? Does that drive tourism? Is a way that we can legally use those dollars to do that? That may be one example.
Factoring in the parking deck, the Crown Event Center project would have cost nearly $200 million. The board also voted 5-2 to explore renovating the current Crown Theater and the arena.
Today, state emergency management officials will provide an update on their preparations for hurricane season. They will hold a briefing at 2 o'clock at the State Emergency Operations Center. Governor Josh Stein, Attorney General Jeff Jackson, and leaders from emergency management, the Highway Patrol, and National Guard will all be there. This new season comes as many people in Western North Carolina are still recovering from the devastation left behind by Helene. Our WRAL severe weather team is forecasting around 13 to 15 named storms in 2025, with 6 to 8 potentially becoming hurricanes.
Starting Monday, President Donald Trump is banning travelers from a dozen countries, and the reason, what his administration is calling security concerns. The ban prevents people from 12 different countries from entering the United States, including from Afghanistan, Haiti, and the Republic of Congo. It also partially restricts the entry of people from 7 other countries. But the list doesn't include Egypt. That's the native country of the suspect in the Boulder attack. A White House official says that the president made the final decision about the ban after that case.
A new state council will oversee what can be done to control the cannabis industry in North Carolina. Governor Josh Stein now supports legalizing THC intoxicating products like marijuana. He hopes legalizing certain cannabis products can better protect children and force age requirements for all products which don't exist right now. Representative John Bell is part of this new council. He's a Republican representing Wayne County. He also owns a hemp manufacturing facility which makes products like CBD gummies and hemp pre-rolls. Bell says he welcomed the opportunity to join Governor Stein's council to bring order to this growing industry.
I believe that with proper regulations, both industries, the hemp and CBD industry and the medical cannabinoid industry, could exist in North Carolina. Not only could exist, but be a very big business here in the state if it's done right.
Bell did not say he agrees with efforts to legalize recreational marijuana. The council will also include members of law enforcement and the agriculture community.
A lot of money is on the line. The soccer tournament enters its second day in Cary this morning. The first match is scheduled for 10 a.m. and tickets are still available online. The winners among the men and women teams each have a shot to win $1 million each. And we'll be watching for any weather-related delays to today's tournament play and update you if those happen.
Coming up next, money problems mounting. A judge has ordered St. Augustine's University to pay out more than $20 million as part of a lawsuit. We'll explain why and how this is not the only problem on the horizon for the university.
And a recall alert to tell you about more than 500,000 Ford vehicles could potentially pose a safety risk for drivers. We'll tell you which cars and what problems you should look for.
And here's a live look at Cary. Today is a WRAL Weather Alert Day. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione is back after the break with the timing of the rain and how much we could see.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
Welcome back, meteorologist Anthony Baglione in here for Elizabeth this morning. We are continuing to track at least some light showers on radar this morning. For the majority of us in our viewing area at the moment, we're quiet, but this is going to really start to fill in as we go through the morning hours. We're probably looking at under an inch, I would say, of some rain in Raleigh by the time this is all said and done. Definitely higher totals, though, potentially an inch or two down to the south as this, again, continues to push on through. Here's a look as we take the live sweep on radar. Most of that, again, Fayetteville, Sanford, very, very spotty coverage at the moment. There may be a few sprinkles hitting the ground at this point, but it should start to fill in. There's Fayetteville, Clinton, you can see Carthage, Southern Pines, all of our southern counties at least having that potential. We go through today, though, 90% chance of rain, especially after 7 a.m. That really starts to ramp up. We get through this evening, and then it starts to taper off into tonight.
All right, thank you, Anthony. We do want to go back to that breaking news I was talking about maybe 13 minutes ago. That crash on Old Wake Forest Road and Falls of Neuse Road. That's where we find WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. Kelsey, we know that the power is out because of that crash. What else can you tell us?
Chris, we do have an update for you within the last 10 minutes. It seems like power has been restored, but at one point, more than 150 customers were without power. We'll give you a look now at the aftermath of this crash. Crews are working to clean this up right now, but a car hit a power pole. You may be able to see that snapped power pole out there in the distance, but crews are now working to restore power in this area. There's even someone that's right now working on a pole, so we're trying to get an update on what caused this crash. We're also working to find out if anyone was hurt, but this is the intersection of Old Wake Forest Road and Falls of Neuse, so we'll be sure to keep you updated on when this crash is clear. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Deepening financial troubles for St. Augustine's University as new court documents obtained by WRAL show a Wake County judge has ordered the school to pay out more than $20 million to the wireless company SBA Connect. WRAL's Aaron Thomas explains this company is one of two that are suing St. Augustine's over unpaid bills.
A stunning legal decision as a Wake County judge ordered St. Augustine's University to pay more than $20 million to SBA Connect. This comes as the wireless company claims the university went into default of its agreement in September for not making payments to that company.
It's just another hit in a long line of blows of the lack of responsibility, lack of board governance, lack of oversight by those left in her charge.
Class of 1992 graduate Carol Kimball wanted to continue her family's rich legacy of attendance, but an uncertain financial situation gives her pause.
I can't even send my children there, and that was always my plan.
In newly obtained court documents, the judge says the defendant, St. Augustine's University, is therefore in default for failure to plead or otherwise defend as required by law. It goes on to say defendant St. Augustine's University is liable to plaintiff SBA Connect LLC for damages totaling more than $20 million. We reached out to SAU for comment about the judge's ruling and what it means for the university's future. Alumna Carol Kimball blames mismanagement of funds for putting St. Augustine's legacy in jeopardy.
My concerns for the school's future are that if we do not make a change in the leadership, that the problems will continue, because that has been the only thing consistent with the current Board of Trustees and leadership at St. Aug.
Now, on top of financial challenges, SAU is still fighting for accreditation status after a previous appeal in March failed. Arbitration is set for June 26th.
Tonight on WRAL, cell phones in the classroom. You have heard us talk a lot about that this week. State lawmakers and school boards want to restrict their use, and that's why WRAL's Destiny Patterson teamed up with our education insider, Emily Walkenhorst. They went inside several schools in the area to see what's working and what's not.
As I'm walking around, what am I actually looking for now? What are they doing? Are they doing the work, or are they on their phones?
And so our team got answers to your questions, including, is one policy better than others? And what do students and teachers think? The answers tonight on WRAL News at 6 o'clock.
The average 401k savings rate hit a new benchmark at 14.3% during the first quarter of this year. According to data from Fidelity, this is the highest savings rate recorded. It includes more than 25,000 corporate plans and 24 million participants. Fidelity recommends workers save 15% of pre-tax income to maintain lifestyle after retirement.
Just a heads up, Ford drivers, there are 2 new recalls you need to know about. The company is recalling nearly 500,000 Ford Explorers, and that's because part of the door trim can detach while driving, and that can be a dangerous road hazard. More than 63,000 Ford Mavericks are also being recalled, and that's because of an airbag indicator light that could potentially become loose or even dislodged. The recalls impact 2016, 2017, and 2025 model vehicles, and owners should get a notification letter in the mail starting next week.
Recovery in the Midwest this morning after a second night of severe weather and flooding hit the area. This was the scene in Missouri. We're talking downed trees and power lines, raging creeks washed over roads. Neighbors are thankful last night's storms did not produce any dangerous tornadoes. Some people say the warning sirens did not come on until after the weather was already on top of them.
And we're looking at some weather conditions that we're going to be expecting today. Nothing as serious as the Midwest has been seeing. We have meteorologist Anthony Baglione tracking that for us on this WRAL Weather Alert Day.
Yeah, thankfully at this point from the Storm Prediction Center, we do not have any severe risk for us today. There may be for a place like Wilmington right along the coast, a very, very low end, what we call conditional tornado threat, because there's going to be some spin in the atmosphere, almost like what we see with the tropical system. Not necessarily anything super strong, but you can think about it, just the atmosphere spinning a little bit offshore. That may give Wilmington, again, right along our coast, the potential for a conditional low-end threat. Otherwise, we are looking at rain today, a lot of cloud cover, temperatures below normal. Just a great day to kind of be inside, maybe reading a book or something like that later on today. Here's where we sit currently on dual Doppler 5000, the loop over the past 15 minutes or so. Light rain starting to push in for our southern counties, Fayetteville to Sanford. That's about it as far as the extent at this point. It'll fill in through the rest of the morning for the rest of us, but for the majority of us down to the south, still looking pretty light. Fayetteville, Hope Mills, you can see very, very limited coverage. And I was just looking at our cameras, one of which being, of course, our Fayetteville camera. There's not much coming down that I can see right there. So we're looking pretty good at the moment. Watch what happens as we go through the morning. So we're going to start to see this fill in. It pushes in from the south. And once it's here, scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two going to be with us through the majority of late this morning. Early this afternoon, there could be some heavier pockets where we see the rain coming down. Not looking at some huge totals across, let's say, Wake County up to the north. There may be several inches possible down to the south, but based on what we're seeing out there this morning, I don't foresee any huge rainfall totals out of this system at the moment. We're at 71 currently around the triangle, in 65 there, Rocky Mount, 67 in Goldsboro. So it's a very, very mild start for us. Because of the cloud cover, because of those rain chances, we don't see temperatures move much today. We're going to get up to a whopping high temperature of 74, and we're close to that right now. So you can see we don't really move much. We get through the next few days, though, our temperatures start to heat up. With the weekend coming, I will say our temperatures on Saturday are going to be in the 90s. We may start to approach feels like values in the triple digits on Saturday. Because of that, we're going to have a good deal of instability across the area Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. That may lead to a strong storm potential for some of us. So that's going to be kind of our next potential severe day that we're watching, at least at this point. 74 for us today, 90 by Saturday. Again, feels like values mid to upper 90s. And then, guys, look at all those rain chances all the way through the middle part of next week.
Oh, goodness. All right, thanks, Anthony. Coming up at 5, house party shooting. As one suspect makes a court appearance, law enforcement has arrested 4 more people in connection to a deadly mass shooting in Catawba County. We're going to bring you more information on that again at 5 o'clock.
Father's Day deals. 5 Under Side shares the top-rated products that are on sale and perfect for dad.
All right, we're getting a look at some of the top stories in the world of entertainment.
Here's Douglas Hyde with today's Hollywood Minute.
The sequel to Wicked won't hit theaters until November, but you don't have to wait that long to hear new music from its star, Cynthia Erivo. The Grammy-winning actress's second studio album, I Forgive You, drops on Friday. Arrivo not only performs all the songs, but co-wrote them as well.
All right, everyone. I am Lars. This is Sigrid. We are Fire Saga.
Who wants to hear a Eurovision song?
Will Ferrell is adapting his Eurovision comedy into a Broadway musical. The original 2020 film followed an Icelandic duo as they chased their dream of winning the famed song contest. Ferrell will co-write the musical. No word yet on when it'll hit the stage.
After a lifetime of filming the natural world, I now understand the most important place on Earth is not on land.
Ocean with David Attenborough takes audiences on a visually stunning tour of the world's most spectacular undersea environments. The famed naturalist also trains his lens on the threats facing oceans and some inspiring efforts to help marine life recover. The feature-length documentary debuts on Nat Geo, Disney Plus, and Hulu this weekend. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
A long journey for 4 sea lion pups has finally ended where it began. The group was released back into the ocean at Venice Beach in California yesterday. The pups were recently nursed back to health by professionals at the Marine Mammal Care Center after they were poisoned during a major algae bloom. Over the last several months, the care center received thousands of calls about stranded sea lions, dolphins, and whales.
Your time is 4:56. Coming up at 5, overturned car. Teams are at the scene of a crash in Raleigh this morning that knocked out power. We're going to take you to the scene to show you what's happening this very moment.
And the new Switch. Gamers are lining up this morning to get their hands on the newest Nintendo console, the Nintendo Switch 2. We'll hear from shoppers who've been in line for hours.
And coming up at 5, foster care changes. Lawmakers at the state capitol are set to debate a bill that would reform the system. We're going to take a look at what's being discussed.